Hello, welcome to our Providence homestead. My name's Julie, and today we're trimming our rose bushes and repotting them into new, bigger pots so they'll have more room to grow. I haven't quite figured out where I want to totally plant them in the yard, so this is the best way to give them a little renewal of the soil. We'll be fertilizing them, that kind of thing. So here we go. This is going to be a great experience. Now, about 2 weeks ago, I went to a class because I love rose bushes. I've received rose bushes, but I've never really known how to properly take care of them. So my husband and I, we went to a local garden place here that does classes, and one of the classes was how to trim a rose bush. And let me just say, the first time that I started trimming the rose bushes, my heart sank. And the reason is that I actually took 3 of my rose bushes, and I'll let you see them later. Because for me, I wanted them to be luscious and green and beautiful, ready to start blooming again. And the instructor said once a year, you have to cut them back at least a third, or no more than a third. And the best way to trim a rose bush is to first take all the green off. Now that just kind of goes against everything inside of me. And if you go to like garden centers, you'll see for sure there's rose bush roots where that's what they've done. They've trimmed off everything, and you get a root ball, and then you get a couple branches coming out of it, and that's the rose bush that you plant and begin, growing. So when we were at Lowe's getting some fertilizer for, I didn't mean to mention the box store, but anyway, we went there and got some fertilizer for the 3 rose bushes that I did. She said the best type of fertilizer for rose bushes is 14, 14, 14. You call them triple 14. And we really had to look hard. We had to get some assistance, but we were able to find that in the store. And that's once I repot all these rose bushes, then I'll be putting that around the soil, and it's a slow release kind of fertilizer. And the instructor also mentioned that the best way to fertilize rose bushes is to trim and fertilize them in February, and then fertilize them in April, and then fertilize them again in June. And then after June, don't fertilize them anymore, because all the fertilizer that's in the soil will, continue to run its course until it's all used up. But you want your rose bushes to go dormant and kind of half asleep during the winter. And so fertilizing February, April, and June. So that's what I'm kind of setting up my schedule to be. Like I said, we trimmed the other 3 2 weeks ago. I'm just now having the opportunity to repot them and fertilize them, but they're still good and healthy anyway. So that being said, I'll let you see, I've got my gloves on here, the rose bush that I purchased right here. Let's hopefully get you to where you can see. Okay, I wanted to move where you're a little bit further out so you can see all of the rose bush. You just kind of move this out of the way. So what we're going to do, like she said, the first thing to do is to take all the green off. So let me put my gloves on because there is thorns on these, and I'd rather not get stuck today. The other thing she mentioned, goodness gracious, is to, when you trim your bushes, whether it be, especially if it's rose bushes, but any flowering plant, and you're using the trimmers here, is to take some alcohol and clean it off, because you don't want to spread disease from one rose bush to another, or from one plant to another. And I apologize for the dogs barking, but we are part of a kennel. And they are just going at it, aren't they? Hopefully it's not too bad where you're listening in from. Okay. Okay, so again, first things first is just get all the green off. I've got a trash can back over here. I'm not cutting too deep right now into it for the total third, just because I want to see what I have, and that's what she suggests, is to trim off the green so you know what you have. And the nursery that had this rose bush didn't trim when it bloomed. See, all these are little, now if you can see, they're all little blooms on the tips of it. Now what's unique about this rose bush is that it's actually 2 rose bushes on one. I have it right here. Whew. It is white iceberg and burgundy iceberg. And I'll take a picture of that and put it at the end of the video. But again, this was so heartbreaking when I did this, and at the garden it was really fun because they actually let us do the rose bushes at the garden sanctuary. So that was quite fun to actually be a part of, you know, what was going on there. And I'm sorry if this is breaking your heart too, because the first time I did it, I think I almost cried. Okay. And then we want to get the little ones. Okay. So that's just to kind of get to where we can see what we have working. Let me come back over here. Okay, so let me get you a little bit closer. The other thing she says you need to look for is, see how this one right here is inside this branch right here. It is inside and it's growing up to the middle. The other thing she indicated was you need to try to have like a bowl effect. And by trimming them and creating more limbs going, or branches going out, then you're creating air that comes down this way and allows it to breathe. So let me show you this one here. Okay, this is one of the ones we did at the sanctuary. And as you can see, it has the big branch coming up in the middle. And then it comes out and has, she says look for like 4. This has like 5 branches that can come out. I hope you can see that. Comes out, and it will allow for new growth. I probably could actually trim a little bit more of this off here. This right here is the second one. Now, those green leaves were not there 2 weeks ago. So it is already starting to recover. Let me move it over so you can see it a little bit clearly. Yeah, those leaves were not there. But this is how we trimmed it back 2 weeks ago. And it's going to look great. And once I put it in a new pot, it's going to look beautiful. Now this is the third one. And she did say that because it was so tall, it was really, oh gosh, it was about, I want to say like 4 feet tall. She said because we don't want to trim more than a third, that's why this one has a little bit taller branch there. And it only has 3 big branches coming up. You can see right there. So 3 branches coming up. But it was very tall. It was, like I said, 4 feet at least. In fact, I was concerned when we were going to the sanctuary that all the leaves were going to blow off. Little did I know that all the leaves were going to be cut off anyway. So back to this one that we are trimming up. What you have to look for, and I want to be careful because there's two different roses on this branch, and so I don't want to cut off more of one than the other, and there's really no way of knowing until it actually starts blooming. But this right, let me use my loppers so you can see. This one right here, that's dead. So that's something that we definitely want to take off. And we actually want to take off this one here because it's in the middle and growing up. And we don't want that. We want it to be, this is the main branch right here. And we want to give it plenty of room to grow. And the other thing is you need to cut at a 45-degree angle. So whoop, there we go. Okay, again here, see how this is going up? But this part right here is coming out, but this right here is going up. So whoop, that comes off. Now we want to get some that's in the middle. This one right here is growing into the plant. Can you see that? So we want to trim that one, but we're going to leave this one for right now anyway. Again, this one here is in the middle and it's going to be crowded, so we're going to take that one off. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to keep plugging along. See right here, this one here, this branch here is crossing with this branch here. So you don't ever want two branches to be crossing. So this right here comes off, it goes into the middle. See this one here? It goes into the middle. And then it's rubbing not only with this one back here. See that browned? It was already rubbing that, and now it's going to be coming up and rubbing this. But because this here, it is in the middle, let's just go ahead and take that one off first. There we go. Okay, we'll still go ahead and take this one off. Okay, now I'm going to keep going and removing, see these right here? This right here, it comes back to this branch. That is going toward the middle. You don't want that. That comes off. This one over here, it's coming back to the middle. So we probably go all the way down here and cut it off, and then cut this one off. Actually, just go ahead and, sorry about that, cut that off. Trying to hold the camera and do this at the same time is pretty hard. So I'm going to go ahead and stop here. You see where we've gotten so far, and excuse the mess around here, but we've had a lot of different freezes. A lot of our plants are on life support. And we're hoping as the weather continues to warm, we can start getting these in the ground. So I'll be back in a few moments, and we'll see what it looks like then. Okay, so I trimmed up all what I think should come off and make this a healthier plant. There's no limbs crossing each other. There's a little bit of a bowl effect going on right here. If you look down, see the bowl. So like I said, until I know what parts are which flowers, I don't want to trim off more. If it was just one plant, I probably would trim off more of the plant. But I'm a little bit cautious at this point, just because I'm not familiar with this plant. And it being a dual plant, I want to give it every possibility to give me two different kinds of blooms. So, and the other thing that's really good is that my husband did go to the class with me, and I did ask him to come out and take a look at the rose bush too, because it's so hard to make that cut and take out that branch. Sometimes it's easier to have a second opinion come in and look at it and see if you're missing anything or if something else needs to just, in their opinion, come off, which did happen. There was a few that he says, well, I think you should try this or that, and I totally agreed with him. And that was what was nice when we did the rose garden at the sanctuary garden place that we went for the class, is 2 or 3 of us would get on a rose bush. And I mean, these were humongous rose bushes. And we would trim, one person would trim a little bit, the other person would trim a little bit, and then we'd ask each other, well, what do you think about this branch? What do you think about that branch? So sometimes it's good to have a different person to look at the tree and see if something else does need to come off. That being said, I'm going to go ahead and turn the camera off for a few moments while I do repot this into a new larger pot to give it more room to grow. Most of you probably have done that, so you don't need to watch me do that. Plus, it's hard to hold the camera and do that at the same time. So I'll be back once I've repotted all 4 of the rose bushes and go from there. Okay, so they're all done, repotted. All the different rose bushes. They're trimmed up, fertilized. I'm just before adding some water just to pack down the soil and make sure there's no air bubbles in there. So what a lot of hard work, but it's going to pay off in a few months when it comes time for them to start blooming. So I look forward to that. So share pictures of your roses, and if you have any helpful hints, I am open to those as well. I'm a newbie rose bush gardener, and I want to learn about them. And I just shared information that I learned in the class. So hopefully later on in a couple months, I'll be showing pictures of the roses and all the beautiful blooms. So until next time, don't forget to like and share this video. Subscribe so you're notified of any videos that come up, and we'll see you next time. Hug and squeeze your loved ones. Tell them you love them. Take care. God bless. Hey, just a quick note. I was editing the video regarding pruning the rose bushes, and I did put in some notes that reinforces some of the things that I said. So be sure to read those pictures. The one thing I forgot to mention is when you're trimming the bushes down 1/3, then try to go down to where there is a bud that is going outward. A bud is where a new branch would be coming in. It's not a bud like a flower. So I'm going to show you, that's what I did, but I just failed to mention that. So hold on. I was trying to put something behind it so you could see. So see this branch right here? See that bud right there? That's where a new branch will come out. So that's why I trimmed above it. And when I was trimming, see this one here? Let me see if I can get that black background again. Oh, mercy. Okay, see right here, down here, there's a bud right there that's going out. This is coming in, so I really need to trim that back. So seeing as I couldn't do 2 things at one time. So again, here's the bud right there. So I'm going to trim at a 45-degree angle above it. There we go. So now that's better. So I'll go back and look at that one that I did yesterday just to make sure all the branches do have the buds pointing outward and not back into the plant, because we want to remember, we want to keep the bowl clear. Okay, that's it. Again, I'll see you in the next video. Be sure to like and share the video, and please subscribe. Thanks. Have a great day.